we found out we're twin flames, fell in love, found each other, and created the pathway for others to be able to do the same thing for themselves. Welcome back. This is part 2 of our podcast of becoming twin flame spiritual gurus.
How did it happen?
I'm Jeff Devine. This is my wife, Shaleia Devine. And
everyone knows that on this channel, I think.
Not if you're new.
Okay. Well, hopefully you can read our title. You know, we're Jeff and Julia.
We're Jeff and Shaleia. That's us.
So I think, before I wanted to circle back and make 2 quick points from the first part of our podcast. So before we get into the really juicy part.
In the last episode of Jeff and Shaleia podcast.
Yeah, I know, it's so good. So the first part I want to share was a really important twin flame dream that I had 6 months before Jeff and I met.
Ooh.
I think this was in summer of 2012. I had a really critical dream, and this is when I was living in Sedona, Arizona, a very beautiful spiritual place, and I had a dream of my twin flame and my life, and I saw like a hand go into my hand and hold on to it very beautifully and very tightly, and I just felt the entire energy of that person and of that feeling, and I knew like, oh, this is my twin flame. And then the scene changed to being in a house that was out in the middle of nowhere. There was like mountains in the background and lots of grass like in the backyard, just for no neighbors. It was really beautiful. And I was in the kitchen making a smoothie, and I have a daughter, and she's about 6 years old, and she's running just past me with a dog. And I knew like, oh, that's my daughter and that's my dog. And then I saw my twin flame. He walked past and he said bye. He was headed out the door with a briefcase full of like books, and it was to be our book. And he was going to go like on tour or something and like promote the book and share the teachings. And it was a very clear download of like, this is the picture of my life. This is what I'm aiming for. This is what I desire. And it feels really good. And it was that feeling of when I met Jeff physically, it was the same feeling as what I had in the dream. It was like complete confirmation of like, this is the same feeling. This is the same energy. This is my person. So that was really critical. And throughout the last 11 years, 12 years since having that dream, I bring this dream up, quite often enough, more than periodically, because I'll know like if something, just it was really impactful, and it helps me align with the feeling of my vision in my heart for my life. The last piece I wanted to share was a little bit more on my background. I'm not sure like how important it is like per se, but when I was growing up as a kid, I just wanted to let everyone know that I was not the popular kid. I was kind of more in the fringe group, I guess, like the outsiders. I was with those kids, and I liked being there. I felt like those were more my people. And I remember, I think when I was in grade 5 or 5th grade, I had the opportunity to like be with the popular kids, like be in their friend group, and I just like outright rejected them because I thought they were so mean. And I was like, no, thanks. I just felt like that they were mean, and that they were just very status driven rather than just being like authentic and like have fun and play. So, but that's something I wanted to like mention, was like I was always kind of different, and I was always kind of more on the outside of the group, even up into high school and college. I wasn't like Jeff, who you were a little bit more part of the popular crowd.
Yeah,
but
I was well connected and cool.
Yeah,
I wasn't part of the high status like I wasn't part of the coolest high status people that everyone held in the highest esteem, but I was one of the most well connected, and I could float between all the groups.
Yeah, and I was never like the leader in my friend group either. It always seemed to get passed to like someone else, and I just didn't really care. Yeah, I didn't really care.
So we're about to get to the point where you and I meet.
We are.
But
yeah.
I want to do a quick recap of my life story. If you want to do a quick one of your life story, you can too.
I don't think so. I think they already like.
I want to do a re-theme to kind of like recap it.
All
So
right.
if you don't want to do it, fine. I'd like to.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so basically, I grew up well, and by the time I hit my puberty years, my family's high of like the industrial boom of Detroit was running out, and reality hit them like a ton of bricks with my mom getting cancer, and then both of my parents had a parent die, so my grandparents died when I was 16. So life started to weigh heavy on them. They had this sort of innocent naivety of them to them, and being the youngest child in both of their families, and both of their families were fairly prosperous for their social group, and so just as they were starting to peak and dip down in terms of reality weighing heavy on them, I was launching as a teenager. So it was this very interesting dynamic of I was raised on this high and this idea that the world was going to be this amazing thing, and then I started to launch and my family reality hit, but I just kept going with that trajectory, believing that this is how reality was supposed to be. And I hit college, and the 2008 economic meltdown hit, and I graduated, and it was like, oh, the world might not be that way. No, not to worry. I'm going to keep going. And so that element short, reality didn't really hit me until I met Shaleia, because I just kept going. Mm-hmm. And I had this process of working through my reality with God. And I developed through these spiritual experiences a relationship with God. I didn't really know it was God yet. I just had a conversation going on with the universe. And when I met Shaleia, we'll get to that in a second, it exploded. And the last piece was I had this profound spiritual experience I told you about, where these divine beings told me that I was to bring people back to God. And it was all the people. And I didn't really do anything directly with that until I met Shaleia, and we'll get into that as well. But I just wanted to leave these little pieces for the meeting, because after I met my false twin flame, it was really the person that I was like, okay, like I'm done with this game, like I don't care anymore. I want a person to share with me, because every time I'd get deeper enough with a girl, a woman, it would always fall apart. Like we would have some sort of negotiation. It was like, okay, this is what you have, this is what I have. Okay, let's go. And I knew how to like set it up so it would go deep to where I wanted it to go. And it would always come to a point where I was like, oh, it's not going to keep going, is it?
No.
It's not going to become the thing I was looking for. There's something in my heart that I was after, that I knew deep in my being and my soul that this is what I want from my romantic life. I had this vision that everything was going to be perfect and amazing for me, and I was too dumb to realize that wasn't the world. I was just naive, like, okay, the world is supposed to be this perfect, amazing thing, and the spirituality I'm studying is like telling me you're supposed to have this amazing, perfect, beautiful life, and you create it yourself with God. I'm like, that's what I want. I'm going to do that. And I never really like bought into anything else. And so as I followed this golden thread of the feeling I was after in my life, my false twin flame was a really painful experience, and I was like, something's got to change here. This has got to be for a reason. And then I met Shaleia. Ooh. So do you want to...
So I'll do a quick little recap, not as long as yours. Okay. But, so just to recap, I came from not a middle class family, but a poor family, and Life was kind of hard. I had a younger brother who was born with a hole in his heart, and so there was lots of pain and suffering in my house until he had a surgery. And then not too long after, a couple years or so later, my parents ended up divorcing, and it was a very traumatic experience in the home and in my life, and that trauma continued because it was not a friendly separation or divorce. And then a couple years later after that, my mom, she got breast cancer, and then she was in remission for a while, but then it turned into about 7 or 8 brain tumors, which was fatal. So I was about 15 years old at that time. She passed away about 2 months after getting the diagnosis of the brain tumors. I had an opportunity to live with my dad and stepmom down in the United States, but I didn't really know my stepmom that well, and I didn't have a close relationship with my dad. He wasn't really around when I was growing up. And so I decided to stay where I was living in Canada. My aunt and uncle took me in, but they felt the experience in general was a burden, and they didn't quite understand me or understand how I operated, because autism wasn't really that well known in the early 2000s. It was mostly thought of as associated with like young white boys who were wealthy, and had very obvious autistic traits. And so I fell through the system there, and so I know it was hard on my family to not know how to fully support me. They thought I had learning disabilities, but I didn't. So I just kind of kept my head down low from 15 to 18 years old. So most of high school, I had a boyfriend or two in high school, wasn't very significant. And then I went off to college when I was 18, met my first real boyfriend, and that was when I really started to explore the realm of relationships. It was when I left my church and start exploring a deeper, more mystical connection with the divine, the one that I felt was calling in my heart. It was really difficult for me to leave my religion because I loved God and I loved my community, but I felt that the religion I was a part of was not really suitable for me and my spiritual needs and desires anymore, and I didn't resonate with the religious community. I felt that it was more about a place of belonging rather than about supporting personal transformation. So I knew I was on a spiritual journey. I stated very clearly when I was 18 to God that I wanted to ascend and that I wanted to be a very powerful healer in service to the world and to the divine. And so that feeling always stayed with me, that desire. And from that place, even more so, I was shaped into where I found my way to Sedona, Arizona, after lots of traveling across Canada, trying to find my twin flame. I thought I would find him physically. Like, if I just move out to British Columbia, I'll find my twin flame. Or if I just move to Sedona, Arizona, I'll definitely find my twin flame. He's got to have spiritual vibes, That's who I like. That's what I resonate with as like my person is definitely has to be that. But after like a year, I felt like I don't think he's there. And of course, I had a false twin flame experience there on top of meeting my spiritual mentor, Altonah, who bequeathed a large library of her knowledge into me. And I took that, and when I met Jeff, I started sharing with him what I was learning with Altonah. And so I was in the process of becoming a spiritual teacher and I guess a guru. We'll get into that a little later on, but I was being clearly shaped by the divine for a spiritual purpose and a spiritual mission. And for me, I've always made sure that I'm humble and that I remain humble and that I be of service and that it's not about me, but that it's about God and that it's about helping other people out of their pain. Because I call it my past life. It's the life I had before I met Jeff. It was full of lot of suffering and loneliness and isolation and pain, and I just wanted the pain to stop. I wanted the separation to end, and I didn't think per se, oh, if I just find the right relationship, if I just find the right guy, all that pain will go away. That'll fill an empty void inside. No, that wasn't it at all. It was, I just desired union and love in these places where I don't feel so good, and I'm just going to work on loving myself there while being honest that I'm here to attract my twin flame, because I know that God's plan is for all twin flames to unite and be together, and that God created everyone with a twin flame. Therefore, we must be in union with them, and it's our destiny to be in union with them for us who are playing with the experiment of separation. So, so that kind of leads me to like, okay, so then I met Altonah. I got the teachings. I was practicing the teachings every day, and then Jeff and I met.
So let me just a quick recap, and then we'll kind of go into it.
Okay.
There was all of this build-up.
There was a lot of build-up.
Two different directions.
Mm-hmm.
One, Shaleia being in tremendous pain and having this dream in her heart, saying, I want out of this pain. I want away from this pain. And it drove her to the teaching that manifested her twin flame, me. And from the other end, I am working to be high, to be in this high state, this really wonderful high feeling, and just kind of ignoring all of the pain around me, just focusing on the joy and moving toward the joy and moving toward the dream. And we really collided.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a casual encounter. It was explosive.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, like two.
It was chemical. It was quite reactive.
Two very powerful people moving in very powerful directions toward each other, like collided, and it completely transformed our lives and directions.
Yeah.
Just as, for me, my spiritual experience that I shared with you really set an anchor into my life and my purpose and changed my direction in life. This was like the explosion, right?
Yeah.
We'll get into the spiritual experience in a minute. But we finally met. Yeah. And did you want to share it from your perspective? And
sure.
Then I can share it from my perspective.
Continue.
Yeah.
Maybe I should move closer.
A little closer. Let's get in.
Let's get cozy.
Get cozy.
Yeah. So, let me just think. Okay, so I met the saucy guy online. He was really cute.
Hey.
Just coming off of, the previous podcast. I really liked him. And so they're on our first direct messaging on Facebook, on the back of this comical trolley meme that he sent me. I noticed that there was kind of an intrigue between him and I in that first conversation. And I just remember that we ended the conversation with an interest in talking more to each other, because I think we did end up flirting on that first message, if I recall. And I thought, and you were like, there was this kind of like, okay, we'll talk later, we'll get in touch later, or something like that. I can't fully remember. Hopefully. But then I remember we didn't talk for like 2 weeks after that very initial conversation. And then I was like, okay, what's the deal? Like, you said you were interested in me, because you did say that. But then you just kind of like leave me on red and like ghost me. And my stance at that point in my life was, I'm a woman. I do not chase. I learned this one. A man will not value you the same way if you're the one that's pursuing him. There's a difference between pursuing a man and encouraging him to...
This is really critical.
Yeah, encouraging him to flirt with you, to have an interest in you, to be like, to indicate to him like, hey, like I'm interested in you. You're welcome to pursue me. And so I felt like...
Which I had never done.
Which was
I'll
very new for Jeff. He'll get into his side of the story. But that was my stance, was like, I'm here to attract a high quality man, and I'm here for marriage. I'm not like, I'll date, but I'm not interested in dating for the sake of dating. I'm interested in dating for the sake of marriage. And I'm like 28 years old at this point. So I was already like, I'm done with being a kid and like this kind of like dumb little game that 25-year-old males like to play. So I was very bold, and I was like, are you going to pursue me or not? Because you kind of like opened me up to like interest for you, but you just seem to like not message me back and stuff. So I was like, aren't you going to pursue this queen? Like you said, like that was the vibe. Like, are you or are you not going to pursue me? Because I was basically saying or indicating like, I'm just going to close this connection off. Yeah, there's no point in me going further. I'm not going to pursue you. You're not the woman. So
to which I responded, I didn't know that, I didn't think you were into me.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
really?
that's why I didn't talk to you. I was like, I don't think she's that into me.
I remember now. Yeah, that's right. So anyway, I was like, okay. So I did indicate to him, like, yeah, you know, I'm interested, but like, you have to, you know,
this was a revelation for me.
You have to pursue me.
I was blown away.
Yeah, like if you want me, you'll come get me.
So I was just in my jungle cabin, minding my business. I got really excited about memes one day, and I found I had this revelation that memes were the new method of communication.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was gonna meme people to my heart's content. And so I started collecting memes, and I had this just like a few days or a week where all I did all day is hang out in my jungle cabin on my computer that I made from scrap at the scrap yard. And my jungle cabin is like a tarp with some bamboo posts in the jungle of Hawaii and some tarp and screen as walls. So I got good at collecting good memes, and then I was just like ferociously sharing them randomly on people's walls. And I like pulled out, I'm like, this is the next meme, and this is my next person target, and it's Shaleia, and it's this really like sexual meme about not masturbating in the showers because it clogs the showers or whatever. Some hilarious sign from some college dorm room or something. And I'm like, it was Shaleia's like spiritual post or something. Like, it was just like personal and like really, it was a really like not a good fit.
We already said that in our first story. I need to continue my story. We have another big video to do.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to finish.
Okay, go ahead.
Thanks. So I shared the meme, and I really just want to tell it from my perspective. Is that not okay?
Because you already shared your perspective in the
No,
last
I didn't share
video.
this. This is my story. I'm gonna share it.
I thought you were gonna share it after me, but
no, we're gonna meet to where we are and then continue.
Okay, go ahead.
I got to share my side.
Okay.
So, I share. I'm at this point where I'm like looking at her post and I'm looking at the meme and I'm like, this is a bold moment. This is the moment. We got to share this. This is the moment. We can't skip over this. This is my moment. I'm like, this is inappropriate. And I put it in the comment section and I hovered over the clicking the enter button or whatever to like send it because I'm like, this is going to piss her off. oh well, click.
Oh, well.
And I sent this, it was just like really like a bold, stupid, like wily ass moment. And then I moved on. I'm like, I got more people to meme. And off I get, and then she's like, you horny, bro? I'm like, always, you know. And then I clicked off, like, leave me alone. I'm busy memeing people. And then she's like, she got all feathers ruffled, like, you don't talk to me like that. What is this crap? Are you some jerk?
What is this?
What you doing me?
I was gonna make sure that you paid for your troll.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
She wouldn't let me get away with that.
It wasn't free what he did. That was.
I wasn't get away with that.
Yeah.
So she came and sauced me a little bit, and we had a nice little saucing moment, and I don't know, I liked her. She was cool, and I don't know if that was like.
I'm surprised. Yeah.
I think we talked the next day, or like there was like pretty melded together, like. We got into a great conversation. I was like...
We somehow did, because we knew that we were mutual friends with another person who is Canadian, and we both had a fun experience with that person. So we're like, I kind of in a way like trusted his opinion, like, oh, maybe you should connect. So I was just testing it, like, maybe we should. Let's see what happens. Like, you know, let's just see, you know. Because I'm like, he's part of the tribe, you know, the hippie tribe or whatever.
Oh, okay.
That was that, you know.
I didn't feel that way at all. It was just some
you
guy
know what I mean? No, you weren't.
I liked him, but
you weren't just like, you know what I mean, though, like.
I wasn't just a random dude on the internet to you.
No, or like some corporate looking guy, you know, or just some.
I was a hippie.
Yeah, that's
living in the jungle.
That's what I mean.
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. You're part of the tribe.
Yeah.
So anyway, I hinted when I was like, you know, maybe you just pursue me, like you just kind of said you were going to.
So wait. We had a great conversation first, and then there was like a big space.
2 weeks.
And in the conversation, I realized that you were like a Canadian citizen in the U.S., and I was like, oh, I'll marry you. I like thought about it too.
Oh, it's so sweet.
I'd be like, I'll marry you just so you can hang out and we can make friends, because like I just really like vibed with her.
Yeah, we had a vibe. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It went really well. Like I was like delighted. And we like had funny negotiations, and what I really noticed was like when we were negotiating, I was like, I'll do this, and then I want you to do that, and she's like, okay, no, but then I'll do this too, and I'm like, but we already agreed that we would do this, and then you just added more for free. I like this, and it was just like a very playful.
I made good deals. That's what I mean. Yeah.
You like increased the goodness of the deal, and I'm like, oh, like she gets it. She knows what a good deal is.
I read Napoleon
and the point.
Hill. No.
Yeah, you must have. You knew.
Yeah.
We just had such a good vibe, and I was like, all right, all done, and moved on with my life, memeing people, and I kind of had some feelings, but I was like, if she's not into me after that, she's not gonna like. She got other stuff going on in her life. Mm-hmm. That was my thinking, and you were like, if he's not into me after that, he needs to horse off.
I know.
And so when she reaches out to me, she's like, "Are you not going to pursue me?" I was like,
"Because you said you were going to reach out to me and then you never did." Yeah. So that's why when I reached out to him. So here we are at the very beginning. I'd like to continue moving our story
that's what we're doing.
So so after that, you know, he realized like, oh, there is an opening here. So then he started pursuing me, and I really liked
that.
Well,
this is a critical moment for me. We don't want to skip over this.
No.
This is my moment.
Okay.
Where you say, pursue me, and I was like, what? No, I don't do that. And I realized she was asking me something of my heart, like in a divine way, like, if you're not interested in me, and remember this is my serious college girlfriend, was like, why are you pursuing me if you're not into me? And I'm like, well, I like the juice that you bring. And she's like, that's not right. And I'm like, wow, like, you're right. That isn't right.
Yeah.
And when Shalea's like, pursue me, or heck off, she was really posing like, are you just a player? Because this is what you look like.
I know.
I'm like, no, that's not what I'm about. I'm not here just to like get juice from you. I'm actually looking for a serious relationship. But I just never been posed this before. And when she said pursue me, I was like, wow. I had to make a decision too. And I'm like, yeah, like that's the right thing to do. And I do want to pursue you. And so that was a hard moment for me.
Yeah.
To like get over my fuckboy attitude. I didn't even know I had it. It was just like the culture, and I thought that was what you had to do to like find your one true love.
Yeah, no.
And
Yeah,
you like,
because a lot of movies, back then just show like the girl pursuing the guy, or just being way too easy to fall in love, or way too easy to get the guy. It was just like, I didn't
for
like
me it was
that,
like, if the girl wasn't pursuing me, then we're not going to get that really high spark. Because if I start pursuing her, then she starts to play games on me and like extract my energy, and it feels bad.
Right.
And like, I had to get over that wound that you really put in my face. Like, yo, if you're not going to pursue me, like, buzz off. I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, like, there's something valuable here that we have. And I do want to learn more here. And so, like, you got me. You're right. And so I did start to pursue her.
Yeah. Aren't you glad?
Didn't you do some like wishbone ceremony again after that?
No, I didn't. No, that was.
I thought you did some Valentine, because we were talking on like the day before Valentine's Day.
No, it's my story. You're not getting it right. Anyway, the wishbone thing was in the last podcast.
Yeah.
For them as well.
Okay.
So anyway, then so I so yeah. Oh yeah. So then in that conversation we were talking about, I offered to do a card reading for him, and he never had a card.
That was
reading.
hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, that one really got.
Got me.
I was surprised that really got you. I don't know why, but because I never met a guy that was like so into.
You got all sassy on my life in the card reading. Told me what to do. Told me what I need to be doing.
I didn't. It was the cards,
Yeah.
So we were already half hour in here.
You're pretty right.
So I did a card reading, and I helped him with an issue that he was having in his life at that time. He really liked my card reading.
That's good. She was the best psychic ever.
Yeah, I felt like
best
it was
reader.
honestly, it was so easy to read. It was the craziest read ever because it was so easy.
Yeah.
And I realized like, oh, this is my twin flame. In
retrospect.
In retrospect, I'm like, oh, that's why I was like. So anywho, and then that was like February 13th, and then February 14th, I didn't hear anything from him.
I didn't want to be cliche, and
we weren't like officially dating yet, so I mean, I don't really blame him.
I messaged you after midnight.
We just opened the doors to start the connection.
Yeah.
But I just remember being really disappointed and like heartbroken, like, oh my God, it's Valentine's Day, and like he didn't message me or say, what does this mean? Because like we're obviously like starting to think about, going in that direction. So I was kind of hurt about it, and I never let him forget it. These little cliche things mean a lot to me.
Yeah.
But
kind of wounded over holidays, so
I don't care about that.
Okay.
So they mean a lot to me.
Yeah.
So, but whatever. I was like, okay. So then I was hurt, and I was starting to think like, maybe this isn't the guy for me, So I was just
like that, gentlemen. Don't make mistakes.
Don't make mistakes. Yeah. Right. So, but then the very next day on February 15th.
No, like after midnight.
Then he felt. No, I was already well asleep. Remember, there was like
morning,
6 hours. We were anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then we had had a nice conversation, and I felt better after. I felt better about him after that. I can't remember if I pressed him on it.
Yeah, you probably did.
I probably.
No, I don't know.
Later on,
you.
Later on, I didn't want to be like pressure. I didn't want to reveal myself there.
Yeah, it was too early.
But the thing that stood out is that from that time, we spoke every day. So like from that day, February 15th, 2013 onward, we spoke every day.
Literally since then, every single day.
And like
there's only been one day in those 11 years that we spent apart.
One day. It was sort of like a wedding.
I was like hanging out with some of my boys from high school.
Yeah.
And then I had a boy sleepover. We rode bikes and had a grill.
So anyway, yeah, we'd always been together every day.
Single day.
So from February of 2013 to early June, like the very beginning, the first week of June 2013. We were online dating. He lived in Hawaii, I lived in Arizona. So we were online dating and we spoke every day, and it really annoyed my roommates that I was living with at the time. You know, we lived in like the walls were very thin. It was just a 2-bedroom.
It was a trailer.
It wasn't like a trailer,
It was a trailer.
but it was kind of like that. But it was like a nice trailer on a street.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I still I'd go to work. I was working at a hair salon at that point in time, and then I'd go and see Altonah, and then on weekends or certain days I'd go to the drum circle or the full moon ceremony or the bar and party. I love to dance.
Yeah,
I didn't drink a lot. I didn't really drink hardly. I just like to dance, and it was really good for my ADHD and my autism. I actually really enjoyed it, as a side note. Anywho, so we were preparing to come together, and so I quit my job a week before at the hair salon. Jeff came because he told me I should.
So hold on. Shortly after we met, I had to destroy my jungle cabin because of some zoning issues, and I moved into a bedroom in the house. So
right.
I had been in that jungle cabin for years, and weeks after meeting you, I had to destroy it.
Weird.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
This is the beginning of my life completely imploding. It was already snaggletooth on the edge, and then it was just unbelievable.
Well, and that's the same theme for me as well. And you're gonna see this theme throughout our story, is how we come into contact with people or situations, and it seemingly implodes. So my roommates kicked me out because they basically didn't like that I was talking on the phone. I had with Jeff. Apparently they could hear me through the walls, even though I was trying to be quiet and stuff. So I thought, okay, I'll go outside, and this was be 9-10 at nighttime, midnight, and I'd be talking outside, away from the house. But it just it was just never good enough. They just didn't they didn't support my transformation.
About this rubbed them the wrong way.
Something about it
made you very uncomfortable because you were so intensely in love.
I was very in love.
Very
it was
high.
All over my face. I couldn't hide how in love I was, and the connection seemed really intense because it was long distance.
When you say intense, it's not intense, not in a really incredibly good.
Yeah, in a
very
good way.
Powerful and good.
Yeah.
Intensely wonderful.
Yeah, felt just really good. I knew, and I was telling people about him, and I knew I had met my twin flame throughout that long distance relationship. Those 4 or 5 months, we read our love lists over together. At least I had my love list, and I was I think this is my person. He seems to check 80% of the boxes, and 20% is just something that needs to happen over time, kind of thing.
I wrote my love list, and before I met you.
Oh, you did. That's
and
right.
I was as I started, I got 3 things in, and I'm this is 3 different people. This is too much for a person, and I haven't even really begun. And so I threw it out. And when I met Shaleia, it was oh, you're all the things, and then you're a lot more.
Things, yeah.
It was way, way, way more than I expected in a person. Mm-hmm. And the thing that was really compelling for me about her was okay, I know how this goes. I know the romance dance. I know how this feels. I know where it leads. I know what you're saying, what I'm saying. I know what the offer is. I'm quite well versed in this game. And there's always a deal that you're okay, this is what I bring, this is what you bring, this is the juice, right?
Yeah.
And it was the bottom dropped out, and it was infinite treasure. And that's what you're ultimately promising me, if what I was promising you was true, which is I'm just offering you myself. Mm-hmm. And so I'm this is too good to be true kind of deal. I'm just going to follow it through because this is what my spiritual journey is. I learned to follow my heart, and when
Same.
I did, it just kept going. And it hasn't stopped.
Yeah, I was definitely following my heart. That's what took me away from Canada, making a big leap into Southwest America. So I felt, this was my twin flame. And I had presented him with the idea. It felt like it was the right time.
No, you told me that my twin flame wasn't on the planet.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, you're like, do you know about your twin flame? I'm
No,
like,
I
no,
didn't.
what's that? And you're like, oh, let me ask God through the pendulum. Oh, no, I don't think your twin flame's on the planet. Mine's not either. And I'm like, I want my twin flame.
Oh my God, I totally forgot.
Why would I be with you if I've got a better person? You're
Technically, I was right, though. No, I was right about that. Yeah. Technically, I was right.
Yeah.
It's because I don't think we were ready to see the truth at that time.
Sure.
But no, I don't think so. I wouldn't have pursued you. That doesn't make sense, because I wouldn't have pursued you if I didn't think you were my twin flame. I thought you were my twin flame.
Okay, well, that's what you told me. That's what I remember.
I don't remember that at all. I don't think that happened.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it happened to me. I don't.
That's what I remember.
No, I don't think that's right at all.
Okay, that's what I remember.
Okay, that's not what I remember.
Anyway. Detail doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you just kind of threw a curveball in my story.
Just tell the story. It doesn't matter.
So, anyways, I don't know what that was all about, but his story is not right.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I don't think so. But I knew he was early on my twin flame, so I told him that I think we were twin flames. And this was, I don't know. This was about March.
You told me this online?
I don't know. No.
I remember you telling me this when we first met in person.
Really? I don't remember. Anyways, I can't remember. It's too bad. I burned all my journals.
Okay.
But the nice thing was that it was late February or somewhere in late February or March. You did ask me to be your girlfriend, and that felt really, really good.
Yeah. I just assumed that you were my girlfriend.
You assumed, yeah, but...
Assumed the deal.
It wasn't, clear to me, and so I went out on a date with a guy, and then I told you, and then you told me, well, I thought we were dating. I thought you were my girlfriend. I thought we were dating or something like that.
Fine. We're just in the early stages.
And we're very early, and so I was like, okay.
Because what we were asking of each other was a really big deal.
It was a big deal.
And it was a huge departure from the way of life we had both been, leading.
Yeah.
This life of exploring relationships to find the person.
Yeah.
And I think we were both, it was too soon to be okay, I'm done exploring. This is my person. This was a very serious opportunity that we're both exploring. Mm-hmm. And it took us time to get fully invested into it in every single way.
It did. It took us
a lot.
Yeah, it was a big commitment. Mm-hmm. So anyways, yeah, after that, I thought it was a really cool way to ask me out, actually. How he did it. It was really cool.
I just assumed you were my girlfriend. I was like, I see you as my girlfriend.
You did. And I was like, oh, okay. And I remember when he said that, my heart just leapt for joy. Because I didn't like the other guy as much. He was fine. It was nice. We went on some motorcycle rides.
Got some contrast.
He had a house in Sedona and a house in Canada, in British Columbia, which was really cool.
I was a broke dude living on
that province.
Well, not anymore. But.
Right. This guy was more established, a little more older, a little more wealthier. Well, quite a bit more. But
this guy was probably way higher status and cooler than me. Much better catch on paper.
On paper, he was. But I didn't feel that spark or that passion with him. Something just didn't quite feel right. And
God put it in your face. All these things that Jeff is not, this guy is.
Yeah.
Which do you prefer?
It's so true. Yeah. You could have Sedona and you could have BC, your two favorite places, and this guy's fine. But no, I didn't.
Learned the lesson.
I learned the lesson because I could already feel in my heart, if I were to totally explore it with this guy, I don't feel the passion. If I don't feel that passion, then I know it's probably not going to last very long. This probably isn't it, because my ideal is that that there's passion in our relationship, and then that passion remains. And I think for me, that's one of the important factors in a long-lasting marriage or long-lasting twin flame union. It's passion. So I was really glad. I was happy to completely let that guy go, and be Jeff's girlfriend. So I was his girlfriend, and then we started making plans to meet in person. And so, yeah, like I was saying, I quit my job a week before. Jeff said that, well, we'll probably stay together. It was his, prediction, and that we'll probably start a business together. So I didn't really need it was a minimum wage job. I didn't need to go to a job. Also, like, he didn't really want me, like, going to work while he stayed at my place to visit. At this time, I had already been kicked out of the original place where we started talking.
Yeah.
Because they didn't like me having a relationship.
I knocked down my jungle cabin, and I was living in the Krishna house now.
So I was living in a house. It was a nice little house, the single mom family. And
you were living in the garage. That's when you got in the garage.
I lived in a room in her garage.
Yeah.
And I had a mattress on the floor and some shelving, a couch, a chair, and it was fine. I didn't mind it. To me, I'm like, I'm on an adventure. Like, I'm not, unless
not
we're
here to live in luxury.
Yeah, I'm not like here to lay roots or anything. So, it was fine there. And then about 2 days before Jeff was to get, to fly from Hawaii to my house, I started getting cold feet and I started having regrets. And then I tried to break up with him. People may or may not know. I said to him...
Tried to dissuade me.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know any 25-year-old that is thinking about marriage and children. Like, I know 25-year-old guys, and...
She called me up all sassy. Listen, I don't think it's going to work out. This was a little earlier. This was before I bought the plane ticket. You did this.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was then.
No, you also tried to dissuade me and ruin things just beforehand by throwing a fit and being really uninteresting and being,
mean,
being cold.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't care. I'm going to show up at your doorstep. Like, I'm going to show up and I'm going to figure this one out for me. I don't care what kind of games you're going to play.
I pushed back. Yeah. Because I knew that, like, I had been really, really hurt in relationships. And, like, we were going to go to the place where, like, I was really hurt and I didn't want to get hurt again. I was nervous. I had gotten used to our relationship being online. I was religiously watching YouTube videos of, like, couples meeting for the first time.
Oh, yeah, me too.
From online dating, long distance relationships. And, like, it was very helpful for me. It was very soothing and healing. I cried. And, but yeah, I was still, like, nervous. Like, what if I got scammed? I don't know.
What if I was a Nigerian king?
You couldn't have been because we were assuming. But yeah. But anyways, I got over it. And then, I did a lot of hiking those 2 days, a lot of decompressing, going to the vortexes. And then the moment arrived where Jeff
I showed up.
Going to show up. And so, luckily, I didn't have my driver's license, but my roommate at the time was cool and let me take her car.
Some illegal activity there.
Well, it wasn't that far. The motel was just, like, up the street and then, like, a quick right turn.
Yeah.
So, I made sure that I had a crock pot vegetarian dinner because we were both vegetarian. And, I took the car and drove, and I sat.
You went to Costco and you got a bunch of, like, coconut water.
I did.
And, you got a bunch of treats for us. It was very nice.
I did. I got some treats for us. I wanted to be nice.
Supplies, yeah.
Got supplies, stuff that I knew we'd like. I think I got something else, a nice little other, like dried mango or something.
Yeah, you got a bunch of good food for us.
Good food for us. Yeah. I knew that was important. So I was sitting in the parking lot at the motel. It was like a Motel 8. And I was waiting for Jeff, and I was so, so nervous. And I had a flip phone or an iPod, either a flip phone or an iPod. It was my iPod, yeah. And I took a little recording of me, like, in that moment of, like, I'm about to meet Jeff. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I got butterflies in my stomach, and I had, like, crazy butterflies in my stomach because I could feel that my life was about to forever change. And I was not going to go back to my old life. I knew it, like, the night before. I'm like, this is the last time I'm probably ever going to sleep alone in a bed. It was, like, a really big deal.
That's a really bold, like, awareness.
Yeah, I just knew. Well, we had planned to kind of, like, just probably live together.
You just knew it was going to be forever from that point on.
Yeah, I did know.
I didn't know yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I knew. God told me the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah, I could feel it. And so, yeah, I knew like a big change was upon me. And so I filmed, I wanted to film our meeting, but at the same time, I felt like it would probably detract from the quality and the sanctity.
So you're funny because I had a different experience. I'm about to like meet this girl I've been talking to online for months and send her flowers and send her money to pay her phone bill to talk to me after she got kicked out, and you sent me some like some mushroom supplements and a pendulum you taught me to talk to God with, and
yeah, that's right.
And then a few days before I'm supposed to show up, like I already got the plane ticket, you started getting really mean and cold.
Why are you bringing this up again?
Well, because I'm sharing my experience, right?
Okay.
Like this is my lead in. Don't get offended. You're good. I'm like, because you're like, oh, I'm never gonna sleep alone again. I'm so nervous. And I like him. We're gonna be together forever. And like, it's a very contrasting experience to me, where like I'm like wooing this woman and she's really cold to me before I show up. So I'm like, is she gonna even be there when I get
there? That's so funny. I didn't know that.
And then when I like had just did the same thing like a few months before with my false twin flame, like I'm like, all right, I'm coming to be with you, and like she wasn't even there when I showed up at her house.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I get off the airport transport, and like no one's in the parking lot. I'm like looking around. Like,
this isn't me. This is his false twin flame.
No. This is when I showed up to you. I got in the airport.
No, anyway.
Yeah, no. This is what happened. I show up. I'm looking around. I'm like, she ain't here.
Oh yeah, you couldn't see. So like,
you sat in your car. You watched me.
I didn't.
You waited for the bus to leave.
No, that's not like. No, yeah.
And I'm like, got my little luggage. I'm like, maybe she was over here. I start to go around, and I hear my name behind me. Finally, and I turn around, and it's Shaleia, and like, Chat. She's a total babe. Like.
So let me tell my story. Yeah.
Okay.
So what happened was is I was parked about 2 to 4 car spots down from where his mini airport bus dropped him off. And so I saw like, okay, it parked, and I thought, I'm not going to bum rush him. I'm just going to let him get his luggage first, because I'm thinking that's what I would want.
Scoping me out.
No, I couldn't.
Making sure I'm not a creep.
I couldn't see you because I was on when she pulled open the door behind of the bus. Like it blocked my view, so I actually didn't see him at all.
Okay.
But I could see that she was pulling luggage out, so I was like, yeah, like I wouldn't want to be rushed. Like this is a very like critical, high key moment. It's got to be right. And so then I saw, okay. So then she closed the door, and I didn't see you, and she got into her car. She started to pull out just as I got out of the car, and I couldn't see you, and which is what you were looking around. You couldn't find me because the bus was blocking our view.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, because I had already gone out before.
Oh.
So then the bus finally like pulled off. And I could see you were like looking around like, where is she?
Yeah.
And I was like, Ender, because he was Ender at that time. It's now his middle name.
Yeah.
I was like, Ender. And then you turn around, you whip around, you see me, and a big smile comes across your face.
Total.
And I see his luggage. All of a sudden, he's running towards me. He kicks off his sandals and his hat.
And my sunglasses.
And your sunglasses.
And I dropped my backpack and my luggage. And
everything.
I'm just running across the parking lot.
It was a true romantic moment. And then we hold each other. We embrace. And it's just like the longest, sweetest embrace. Oh, no. Yeah. It was a good moment. Yeah. I like reliving it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was the best hug of my entire life. And I felt like, oh, I'm finally home. Like, this is what love feels like. I felt like I'd never been hugged before. So, yeah, I was just really grateful. It was a very beautiful hug. It was at least 30 to 60 seconds long. And then I started thinking, I don't really know what he looks like yet. Like, I just had like a quick look on him, and my very first impression was that he's kind of geeky looking. Like in online on pictures and video, he looks way hotter. Like you're still hot, like, but he looked actually kind of like geeky and like this sweet guy. In person, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, he's so sweet. It's just perfect, you know.
It was the opposite
I kind of found him intimidating. All your like.
I thought you were so
before.
nerdy online. I was like, you know, like you're cute, but like you're really nerdy in your pictures, and you're kind of strange. And then like on camera, you were like kind of pretty, and then in person, I was like, oh, she's like really hot. Like, I didn't know you're this attractive.
I always knew, like, I don't fully translate on video or pictures for whatever reason, like online. Like, I feel like I look different, like, in person. It's weird. I feel like a lot of people
Camera, like,
know
mutes out your vibe.
Yeah, it just, like, it doesn't fully translate. So, anywho, yeah, I thought it was sweet. You thought I was hotter, and I thought you were...
way weebier.
Little weebier, but I loved you, though. I thought it was sweet, and you are still very attractive.
Oh,
but
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I was... so we had that moment. So I looked at his face, and I was like... I just, like, smiled. I'm like, I'm so glad, you know?
Yeah.
We were just smiling and just loved being, like, in each other's presence. It was just, like, I knew, like, this was the one. And so we put his luggage in my roommate's car, and I got him to drive us back to my place.
So we're gonna like spend hours if we stay at this pace.
I know.
We need to jump to the fact that you showed me aliens for the first time.
Okay.
And then quickly move on to Altonah, because we need to really pick up the pace.
I know.
Otherwise, we're gonna be here for hours.
Oh my god! It's only been I know.
I don't really want to do a part 3.
Okay.
So
we'll.
Let me just like zoom us through a few things here. We'll get to like start to zoom out.
Zoom out now.
So then we go home, and she points out aliens in the sky, and there's this light. I'm like, it's a satellite or an airplane, because it's just like, you know, just going across the sky.
It's UFOs, not aliens, but same diff. UFOs.
It's a flippin' alien, is what I saw. And you're like, I know how to see aliens. I'm like, okay, you know.
UFOs, I said, yeah.
Whatever. I'm gonna use the word aliens. That's what makes sense to me.
Well, it's not what makes sense to other people. Alien is like there's a being in front of you.
Yeah, an alien in the sky.
Unidentified flying object is what I saw.
It's an extraterrestrial in a spaceship. So there's a light, and I'm like, it's a satellite or an airplane. But okay, we're looking at it. You're like, no, watch. And she's like, E.T. moment, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm watching. It zooms. She's like, it's an alien. I'm like, okay. And then it like zoops back around and goes super fast and disappears. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. We're in Sedona. So that was strange and cool. She showed me aliens, and I knew she had spiritual superpowers. And
I may have been flexing. Not, you know, low-key flexing.
So we meet Altonah, and Altonah's fine. And like, you know, it's my new girlfriend's spiritual teacher, and I'm polite and pleasant. And she like teaches us the mirror exercise, and I'm like, hold on, go through that again. And she's like, yeah, you just like take your upset and you turn it around and you make the pronouns and turn it to yourself, and then you love yourself there, and it heals your life. You feel better. And I'm like, no. Do you know what you have? Do you understand what this is? And she's like, yeah, it just makes you feel better. And I'm like, you're describing the nature of reality. Like this mirror exercise, it's not just a simple technique. Mm-hmm. Like, you are wielding power over the nature of reality to transform it. Like this thing that you don't understand what you have, and the person who taught it to you has no idea what this is. Like this is like someone else from a higher plane dropped this on you. And she's like, yeah, it's just the mirror exercise, right? Like she was more in touch. She didn't sound like a 14-year-old teenage girl or whatever.
She was more casual about it.
But like, she didn't seem to really understand the power of what she had. And I was like, you don't know what that is. She was using it correctly. Like, she was like, this is how you use it, and this is the instance you use it in, this is when we do it, and it makes you feel better. And I'm like, listen, lady, you need to go teach people this thing. She's like, no, I don't do that. It's too much work. I just sit at home and I do my spiritual work. I'm like, do you understand what you're sitting on? Is the body of work that you don't understand what you have? No, I don't want to. I'm like, okay. So let me explain to you with the mirror, because all my life my adult life really, I had been building the skills of business. I had been developing the mindset, the discipline, the lifestyle, the knowledge, the direction of business. And I just did this because this is what I knew I was supposed to do. I had always followed my heart, my intuition. I had a really good sense of what I was supposed to do next. And I didn't have a business. Like I had started an Airbnb in Hawaii, and it was like really successful for the little thing that it was, but it was just a practice. I'd been practicing business, but I didn't know what to do with it. And I met Shaleia, and like, this is my person. And like, I met Altonah, and it was like, that's the thing that I'm supposed to be doing. Like, God told me, like, hey, you're supposed to like bring people back to God. And like, this was the first moment where I'm like, okay, maybe there's a career and a business here. We'll get to the other thing later. The mirror exercise tells you the nature of reality, that it's a mirror of your own consciousness. That literally, reality is a projection of your inner being. And the mirror exercise teaches you how to change your external reality, that annoying thing that the person is doing that's bothering you, to change that aspect of your reality by identifying where you're doing that within you that's creating that external thing. And this is so powerful because in a Western civilization, we are external focused. We're like, I want the car, I want the house, I want the wife, I want the bod, I want all the great stuff out there because it's going to make me happy. But it doesn't make you happy. But we can see what is outside of us that's unpleasant. And if we go within, we can identify the correct place vibrationally. And if we can change that vibration within, we can vibrate a new experience into our reality. And that was holy fucking shit, chat.
Yeah.
That was infinite power, just casually tossed on my lap, like a few days after meeting my twin flame. Like, here's a mirror exercise, and here's feel your feelings as energy, and here's the lifestyle. It was like, boom.
We were high as a kite too. Like, we obviously, like, we just met in person. Like, we were high on love, high on God, high on life. Mm-hmm. We were in Sedona. We were like in our 20s, like, and then I bring you to meet Altonah, mm-hmm. and this was a really important moment for me too. And all of a sudden, like, I could see the wheels were turning in your mind. Like,
explosive.
Yeah, I saw it. Like, you were like, oh, this is not just some dumb spiritual thing that Shaleia does. Like,
this was the birth of unionism.
Yeah, this is something else.
Because I had been searching for, like, an all-encompassing way to live life. And I had pieces. And this was like the lock that opened the treasure chest. It was Shaleia and the teaching that she manifested that would heal her life and manifest me in my life.
Yeah, it was.
It was
yeah.
Two rapidly moving bodies just exploding into each other, and then everything exploded at the other end.
We met. We achieved our union. We didn't have harmonious twin flame union yet. That happened about a year later. Mm-hmm. But we got our union. In the next few days, we got our life purpose, like the beginning of our like real life, the seeds of our true life purpose work.
And Altonah said that, like, she was channeling Divine Mother, and she's like, like, your career and life purpose will grow the deeper you go with each other. And I was like, that's what I wanted. That's what I was always looking for. Like, that my life, my spiritual ascension was driven by union with my ultimate lover. It's like elevated tantra. Tantra, I don't know, it's just about sex, but this is about ascension through union, through love. Like, the deeper I go with my twin flame, mm-hmm. the closer we get, the more we purify, the higher we ascend. It's walking hand in hand with your perfect person unto your creator, God, where is your eternal joy and happiness.
And that's unionism for us in a nutshell. And mm-hmm. that's the core of our teaching.
That's Twin Flame Ascension
and
School.
And our belief, it's Twin Flame Ascension School.
Mm-hmm.
That's what so-called separates us from other religions. And so we got that, and then we spent about a month total in Sedona together, and we were, seeing Altonah like a couple times a week.
So let me finish this point, and then I can help move us along a lot faster. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The mirror exercise taught us the nature of reality.
Yeah.
And or showed us how to change reality by identifying, because if your vibration is creating your reality. That's like manifestation. And whenever I tried to manifest stuff, I got good at manifesting stuff, but I wasn't good at manifesting like really good stuff. I could see the really high thing. I could go really high. I'm like, this is insane. Yes, it's good. I couldn't really take off because there was always this heavy stuff, this fear, these bad feelings holding me back. And I got high enough times, spiritually speaking. And that takes work to get spiritually high. And it there's a cost to it. And then when I get pulled back down, it was frustrating. Like, why? Why am I getting pulled back down? I want to go there. What's this thing? And so I eventually stopped trying to get high spiritually. And I realized that the way to go high is to dig. You dig out the heavy thing. You just unchain yourself from the vibration which is rooted in fear so that you can have the high, good feeling which is rooted in love. It's an inverted experience. Go within, go focus on the thing that's holding you back and release yourself from it through love, self-love, and surrender, and you'll lift up. So your eyes always become, through the mirror exercise, it teaches you to focus within and bring love to this painful, this hard, this heavy place. And you ascend up, and holy crap, it gets better. You get closer, you get more good stuff. This is why we're so thrilled to show you our Ferrari, the dream that we'd had forever, why we show off our beautiful home, our beautiful baby, our beautiful life, our beautiful relationship, all the victories that all our students are getting from doing this same thing. You guys, we have the keys to heaven. You understand? And that's what we had been given when we came together. And it wasn't like two very experienced spiritual gurus who had worked very hard their whole lives, giving the fruit of their bounty after a lifetime of wisdom and mastery. Oh no, fam. We was two kids with a trust fund. We got all the keys to heaven early. And God's like, yeah, just go out and give it away. And we're like, yeah, let's do it, dude.
That was totally.
We got all the stuff.
Yeah, that was how it felt.
And as we've developed, we've matured, and we've gained experience, but we still have the keys to heaven, and it's the same thing. So I'd like to wrap this up, and if you want to add anything, you can, and then we can kind of jump ahead a lot.
Go ahead, yeah.
So we got the teaching, and we started our life purpose, and we left Altonah. We left Altonah behind, and we visited my biofam in Michigan, flew out to Hawaii, and when we landed in Hawaii, the Krishna house was completely transformed. It was a really nice, beautiful place, upheld by a beautiful spiritual family, a wife, a husband, 2 young boys, and there were a dozen rental units in it. They had Krishna gatherings every week. It was lacto-ovo vegetarian. You couldn't have eggs or whatever, and no meat on the property according to their religion. It was fine because I was vegan. And I was there for 4 years. And when we got back, the couple had gotten a divorce. He was my mentor. It was a big brother I looked up to. He was wealthy. He had everything I wanted. And I really respected him. He got a divorce. And the apartment that we were supposed to move into was exploded, and the whole house was exploded. It was this is not what I had set up to bring my new bride home to. Weren't married yet. No. So we had to work really hard to put the house together. We put a beautiful apartment together.
We did. Got a cat.
And that we had adopted. And then we upgraded the place quickly, and Altonah was talking to God. Oh, she also taught my weird numerology, seeing numbers everywhere, transformed into a conversation I can have with God using a pendulum. I didn't need that after a certain point.
Oh yeah, you got good at channeling.
So this, just it was like Aladdin. I felt like Aladdin, like entering the Cave of Wonders.
Yeah.
Except I get to keep all the treasure, like, and the lamp. Like, it was just an unbelievable spiritual fortune that we had both stumbled upon in finding each other. Way beyond our years, way beyond what we had earned in this lifetime. Like, we had done some work, but not for what we had been given. We were given a fortune that was not just
It
for
was
us.
an upfront payment that we had to pay off, work and pay off.
I just felt, once again, an incredible sense of responsibility. I met my twin flame. Like, twin flames are real.
Mm-hmm.
I met mine, and I know how to get it. And so, like, we were still kind of beating around the bush, like, oh, let's start a business. We started talking about it immediately, if you can go all the way back to the YouTube channel at the beginning. We didn't really get into twin flames until later. So we built that apartment, and, like, my business partner had moved out of his house and was like, yo, you want to rent out my old place? And it was, like, gorgeous.
Yeah.
So we upgraded to that, and, like, we started Awaken Intimacy and started coaching people on, like, soulmate relationships. We were super successful immediately.
Conscious relationships.
This guy that Shaleia knew had never had a girlfriend in his entire life. He was in his, 30s?
20s.
Late 20s?
Late 20s or mid-20s.
Yeah, and he starts working with us, and within, like, a month, dude gets his first girlfriend.
Yeah.
We're like, good at this.
We're good at this.
Hey,
like,
we
were
coach.
very new at this. Yeah, we knew we could coach.
We can
like,
help people.
We could do this. Yeah.
And off we went.
Off we went.
So then we did a reading, and we did like a let's find our life purpose moment.
Yeah.
And it was like,
because we felt pulled in a few different directions, so we really needed to get
because
clear.
I wanted to be we were like, okay, well, we could do anything we want. What are we gonna do? And we did a deep card reading over like a 2-week period, and we just kept talking to God. It was like it was a vision quest.
Yeah.
And there were 3 themes, and we thought there were separate choices that we could make, and it was teacher, healer, relationship expert. And God was like, you could have these 3 paths. And I was like, oh, which one pays the best, God? He's like, oh, the teacher. I'm like, oh, we'll do that. Healer, that's the most powerful. That sounds cool, but I just want to live well, you know.
We gotta pay bills.
I gotta pay bills. I don't want to be poor.
We can't live off credit cards anymore. We gotta do something.
The relationship specialist, I'm like, that's cool, but, you know, the teacher pays better. We'll just do that, huh? You know, pays a lot better. Turns out it was actually an amalgamation of all 3.
It was all of them, yeah.
And we started making YouTube videos, and, like, we happened to make one on twin flames, and it was like 10x anything else we had made. We're like, let's keep doing this. And it became very clear very early on that this is what society wanted from us.
Well, like I said earlier, like, we knew we were twin flames. We confirmed it. We were living and having the experience. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't so much a business decision as it was the right decision to make because of the genuine interest. We felt a responsibility to share what we had been learning and experiencing and what we knew to be, like, true and real for twin flames, based on our experience and our research.
So that's the elevated response. And I'm giving you the, like, kind of a dog sniffing the ground in front of him trying to figure out his way. Because that's how I really felt at the time. Was like, didn't really know what to do. I'm 25, 26. I got this really intense new girlfriend and this really intense new relationship and this spiritual. And I wasn't like, I was just trying to figure out my life at the time. And we were trying to figure out our relationship. And we didn't, like, while this was all there, like, we didn't really fully comprehend the value of what we had at the time. We just kept following our guidance, our spiritual guidance. And we just kept doing the next right thing in front of us. And it led us to all these wonderful places. So we started making these videos on twin flames, and our other neighbors found out and started watching them and getting jealous of us and like conspired against us and got our internet cut off and called the cops on us and tried to sabotage. It came through our window by, like, cutting the screen
and
open.
tried to say that we were frauds because we would have fights.
Doing deep spiritual work.
Like, you don't know, like, what you're talking about.
So we ended up, like, it was a good time to leave. My business partner, it just, like, fell apart. He became kind of dark from the divorce. He wasn't the person that I had initiated a relationship with in the first place. And so we ended up calling my parents in Michigan and be like, hey, we're like not doing so well. Can we come move in with you and kind of get our life together? And like also it'd be cool to like be with you guys. And they were like, oh yeah, come on, come home. You know, it'll be nice to have you. You've been away for 5-6 years. And, you know, I'm so excited you're coming home. Great. And they'd already met Shaleia. This was like a year after that. And we got home, and it was like, I'm so glad you're here. I can't believe you're back. Shaleia, we're going to treat her like a daughter. Like, welcome back. We're going to take care of you. But, you know, by the way, your grandma is going to come in the wintertime and take your room. So you're going to be cloistered in your sister's room together. And we're like, it's fine. You know, thank you so much for the hospitality. We're going to, you know, make do what we can. We understand your limitations. We're going to be very respectful. We understand that we're adults here and we appreciate you taking us in. And we were, over the course of a week, my parents kicked us out in the street, like in the middle of the night. Like
it was 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like at like 1 or 2 in the morning, my bio dad was like
had a meltdown.
It was just like very quickly escalated from, hey, you know, welcome back, my son. Welcome back, your girlfriend. We're going to treat as a daughter. Like clearly, it's a very serious relationship. It looks like could be the one. This is why you're bringing her home, and escalated very quickly to, you're not my son anymore. Like we're going to throw you out on the street, and you know, we knowing what a terrible position you're in, because we were already like, you know.
And we didn't do anything to actually deserve that. Like,
no.
We, you know, we were clean, we were quiet, we were respectful, we're helpful, like we're part of the family, like
cooked meals for them,
like
socialized,
like, normal family stuff, you know.
And yeah, 1 week after landing from Hawaii, and they erupted so much that they put us out on the street. They put us up in a hotel for 2 days.
For 2 days, yeah.
And they were like, that's it. We had no car. We had hardly any money, you know. Good thing this is my hometown, so I knew people. And I was able to secure us a place to stay, a very inexpensive rent from a friend. And I don't know, it took 3 or 4 months for him to do the same thing to us, put us out on the street.
And during that time of living with him, Altonah had passed away from cancer.
So Altonah passed away, and then like a few days later, he kicked us out.
He kicked us out
knowing this, right? Like really, like very like
pretty cold,
like intentionally cold. Like both were like, this is messed up, but we like have this responsibility on our shoulders, especially after Altonah died, to like
share the teachings. Because I didn't think that the work should die with her. It didn't feel like that was the right thing.
So at this friend's house, we wrote the book. And Twin Flames, Finding Your Ultimate Lover. And I didn't know it was going to be important. I just, once again, doing what was in front of me. And I did my first map healing where I like resolved someone's headache. And then I was like, this is cool. Like, let's keep going with this. So then he kicks us out. And we're like, really, like we have this crappy Saturn, crappy car. We're building a YouTube video audience. We started doing readings, and that paid the bills barely for like really bad rent. So we ended up the last couple days before we had to go, secured this basement bedroom in another city.
It was dungeon-like.
It was dark.
Very tiny window at the top of the ceiling.
Brown like
water
plastic
bed.
Walls. Yeah, without a heater at first. It was terrible.
It was hard, cold bed.
Old, smelly couch.
And it was dark room.
But the next door, there was another room next door rented out by an alcoholic, her abusive boyfriend.
Ex-boyfriend.
And we helped her, the person we're leasing from, subletting from, like, she like had to evict him with a personal protection order.
Right.
And then after that happened, we got that room we rented from her, and we
turned it to our office.
No.
Our first office. where we shot Dreams Coming True and Romance Attraction, which there are e-courses, and you can find that in the link
on the website.
Yeah, on our website. And so that was really powerful, you know, being able to shoot those courses. And then Cheeky Poo started messing with our internet, just didn't like that we were raising our vibration, that we were independent, that we were able to pay. It was starting to get a little bit easier to pay the bills because we were getting more readings coming in, and we weren't coaching yet, but we were doing readings.
And we sold a few courses.
And
that was a game changer.
That was a game
because
changer.
She tried to mess with us and shut us out and cause us to she couldn't control us or get us to vibe with her.
Like, she worked at Walmart, and I think she just really resented that we were doing what she probably wanted to be doing. And so she cut our internet, and so we had to start going to work at Starbucks. And
that wasn't enough. So she stopped paying rent. She
called the cops on us multiple times.
And
that's when we started feeling like, because I, you know, was a Canadian citizen, and so it was just kind of like,
really sketchy.
It was a bit of a, like, I don't know, like, maybe we should get married.
So, we got married then.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It was just like this, like, blind, dogged, like, blinders on, like, just run as hard as I can not to die part of my life.
Yeah.
Like, I've got this new girlfriend I'm supposed to support, and this teaching I'm supposed to support, and, like, I can't even support myself very well.
Yeah.
And so we got married in the middle of a snowstorm. It was
January 12th, 2014 we got married. Yeah.
It was a beautiful, beautiful ceremony.
It was beautiful, at the courthouse.
We got this moment of being uplifted out of it all.
Oh my gosh. God
and being reminded
the veil.
of, like, true love.
What it was all for.
And then we got back, back to our life, and
it was hard to believe, because we were literally, like, in heaven, in the complete vibration of heaven, and God gave us, like, an entire day of that. Everything was beautiful. Everything was perfect. We were receiving divine, like, vibrations and emanations coming from heaven. I could see, like, through my mind's eye, like, some of my ascended master friends were there. We went out for lunch, because we got married in the afternoon. So then after that, we went to have lunch, and, like, every single song was the perfect romantic song. Like, I kid you not, from it, like, and I was just, like, there, like, just my eyes were pouring. I was crying, like, oh my God, like, music just can be so powerful, and in certain times and places, it can just have this insane power and ability to touch your heart.
It was just
and, like, be so healing. And that
God was right there with us.
Yeah, I'm like, who's the DJ? God is the DJ.
And it wasn't like there's music on. It was like there was some music speaking to our hearts.
Yeah.
And we both felt it.
We both felt it. It was perfect.
So back to our life. Our roommate had moved out, and the landlord was, like, evicting us.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you got to be out. And we're like, oh, okay. So, like, we hustled, and, like, no one in the whole state would rent to us.
It was unreal. It was, like, nothing available.
We literally, every single room on Craigslist in the entire state that, like, we could afford, we reached out to, and no one would rent to us. And this one woman was like, come check it out, it's fine. So we go to check it out.
Anyways, yeah.
There were a couple situations we visited that were completely unlivable, and we're like, yo, we're going to be, like, homeless. Like, we don't have the money to, like, stay anywhere, like, but this. And finally, this woman calls us back. We're sitting at McDonald's completely defeated, like just using its bathroom. And, like, she calls us. She's like, so you want to do the deal, can you rent from me? And we're like,
Yep,
we'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we started coaching.
That's when we have finally started coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then a few months, like, once again, same thing happened. Like, we're just being as respectful as we can.
Yeah.
And, like, she, like, turned the heat off on us and left.
In wintertime. It was
like,
cold.
my soap was frozen. I'm like, yo, hey, we turned the heat back on. My soap was frozen. Like,
we pay rent.
Right. It's a little silly. And then she like called the cops on us again, and she tried to like take our bed from us. Like it was messed up stuff, dude.
She went psycho.
And then she's like, "Oh, I'm selling the house. Like, I'm having a viewing." And we're like, "Oh, fine. We're going to a movie anyway." So when we came back from the movie, all our stuff was in the front stoop. It was like the middle of the month. We had paid rent, and we had a deposit down. She just put it all out there.
It.
And the cops were like, "Can't do anything about it. That's too bad. It sucks, huh?"
It's a civil dispute.
We're like, "This is illegal." They're like, "No, we don't. I'm sorry. Yeah, they're the homeowner. You better find a new place to live."
And I'm like, so then what's the point of contracts and agreements if they can just do whatever they want? Like, what are you good for?
So anyway, we stayed in a motel for a week. And like in the middle of the night, we like ferried our stuff in our little Saturn that piped smog into the cabin.
Yeah.
You had to put air in the tires every week or so or they'd deflate.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you're reminding me of the time. So we really can't do a part 3. I don't want to do a part 3.
No, we can't really.
Okay. So anyway, we get a new... Can you shut that off? I'm sensitive as crap.
I can't.
Just put that over there.
It doesn't... Yeah. Go ahead.
How much time do you have left?
I have about half an hour.
Oh, it's plenty of time.
Okay.
This isn't important. These are like the early days are really critical before we started TFAS. So we stay in a motel for a week, and we managed to get our townhouse, like from these crappy bedrooms to like this huge... It's in the ghetto.
Yeah.
And they're
it's like
old.
a 3-bedroom townhouse.
2-bedroom, 3-story with a basement.
Yeah.
And
it was our first situation not having a roommate.
God.
Like it was like, oh my gosh, heavenly. Yeah.
And that's where we started Twin Flame Ascension School.
And they didn't need a
deposit from us.
No referral or anything.
Yeah,
like
it was
that.
like we had a very minimal deposit. Like your credit's good, it's no problem.
We're
like, wow.
We're like, okay. So yeah, we went into that place and we started Twin Flame Ascension School, and that was critical. That was really where it all started. Was from there. And at first, Twin Flame Ascension School, it was not recorded, and Jeff and I taught classes separately, and we did that for about a month. And then I found, like, I ran into a block, and I
forgot about that.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, something doesn't quite feel right. So we took a little break, a couple months, and then we relaunched Twin Flame Ascension School together. Lo and behold, we did it together. And we did it online. I think we had 10 to 12 students in the beginning, or
in 2 classes.
Very beginning. Did we have 2 classes?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we did. We had an afternoon class for people that were in Europe, and then we had an evening class, I think so, for Americans or North Americans. So from there, we decided, after a few months, we felt like this is really valuable content, and I don't think we should be holding this for ourselves. I think we need to share it. This should be recorded, and this needs to be dispensed and shared with others. It's just too valuable. And everyone in our class agreed. We posed a question to them, and everyone said, sure, fine. They agreed that it would be recorded. And then we started recording. And, we were doing a lot of Twin Flame videos for our YouTube channel at this time, as well as teaching Twin Flame Ascension School. And then we got little Charlie when we were living there too.
So we started to gain momentum and traction on our purpose.
We did. Someone on the internet blew us up and talked about how amazing we were in our work. And then our classes started to fill up.
Then we bought the Subaru. We traded the Saturn in.
Thank God.
We sold that and for $1,000, and we bought the Subaru Outback.
Really nice.
Brand new, and it was because we were only working our manifestation process the whole time. It wasn't like a business process first. It was a spiritual process first. What we told you about the mirror exercise, about purifying the consciousness in front of you, working through what's arising in front of you. Through this process, we teach our students. That's all we did.
Mm-hmm.
And the Saturn turned into a Subaru. And we got our dog Charlie, and then we hired a cleaner assistant to kind of help out around the house, do the dishes.
Just very simple stuff. We were just so glad. I'm like, oh my gosh, like relief is here.
Mm-hmm.
I can focus more on my work,
Mm-hmm.
and I can also get support from my dog.
We started being able to go out to eat.
We
bought mountain bikes.
Going out and get to the movies, like, oh my God, our lifestyle started to increase, go up in quality, and that was really nice.
I bought a computer.
Yeah,
It went from like extreme poverty for years to like suddenly we have a career.
Suddenly we have money, and like it was growing too. Every year we were experiencing growth.
We got to go cut down a Christmas tree for Christmas.
Oh, that was fun.
I bought her a nice big Christmas. She had a really big Christmas for her first.
Oh, and you upgraded my wedding ring too.
Not yet on the wedding ring.
Oh no.
So
that's right.
we like after 18 months there, we rented a house.
We rented a really nice house in suburbs.
It was like almost 4,000 square feet, like a nice home.
We've never been anything nice like that.
We had a master bedroom with like a
bathroom?
jetted bathtub and a separate shower and like a walk-in closet.
Yeah.
It was 4 bedrooms. Like it was huge.
It was really, really nice. And in those very earliest years of Twin Flame Ascension School, we had a couple that we helped them achieve harmonious twin flame union.
Mm-hmm.
And harmonious twin flame union is when you and your twin flame are in harmony at the core, and that you've achieved this like oneness in your life and in your being, so there's no separation. And we've later further refined that to like there's no you're not going to separate ever, that you've actually healed separation as a choice. So you don't, because in these early days there was many situations where a couple would achieve the vibration of harmonious twin flame union, but then they'd spiritually and vibrationally
fall back down. We had almost 30
into
around
separation.
30.
Yeah,
we had almost around 30 harmonious unions early on because the bar was much lower. Of like, let's just arrive there and like you'll want this, but we'll get to that. I guess we can speak about it, but. So we'll get to that in a second, I guess. So we're vibrating up financially. We go to IKEA like every other week. We're filling the back of our Subaru with furniture.
Oh yeah.
Flat pack furniture from IKEA and furnishing our place. Yeah. I call that period of my life boxes because it was like every other day there was boxes upon boxes upon boxes coming into our front door from Amazon and everywhere.
Because we were buying like for our house.
Our life.
We didn't have any furniture, any dishes.
We went from nothing to having to start over and build everything up from the beginning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that was happening at a really fast rate. Students were experiencing enormous success at a really fast rate, and people were meeting their twin flames. They were achieving harmonious union.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of Twin Flame Ascension School, it was 108 weeks of classes. We had brought together like 30 twin flame couples in a harmonious union, like an astronomical, explosive, miraculous, insane thing. And that's when the media got involved.
Well, we skipped ahead to one important thing.
Okay.
And there was a lot of important stuff that happened throughout Twin Flame Ascension School, which was a 2.5-year process. And I'd love to talk about that, but maybe another time. Video. But at the very end of Twin Flame Ascension School, about I think it was like a couple weeks or a month after it ended, we all met up in Toronto, Canada for our second ever, we had a New York event 6 months earlier for our second ever official event that we did at a really nice hotel. Mm-hmm. And there was an Indian woman who achieved harmonious twin flame union. And there was other Indian students as well. Mm-hmm. They came and garlanded us, and they bowed at our feet and called us guru. And that was a very emotional moment for me. Mm-hmm. I got yeah, I started like tearing up, and I just remember this deep humility just flooded me, and I could feel like truth, like what the Indian students were doing and saying, it was truth. And I couldn't stop them. I wasn't going to.
Their culture knows what guru is.
Their culture knows what a guru is.
Their culture breeds gurus. And knows a guru when they see one. And we didn't see ourselves as guru then.
No, we didn't see ourselves as guru.
But when they came and touched our feet, like, it sends you a spiritual message. Yeah. And you can say yes or no to it.
But I also remember feeling like when they touched my feet, I remember feeling like power leave my body. And I also felt invigorated with power, but I could feel it leave me too. And so I thought, wow, there really is something to this. And I felt like I was just a channel for God and for the student. It was a very impactful experience. And so we accepted the title and role as guru in that moment. And from then on, we have always, like, we've claimed that role. And we do feel in our heart and souls that we are gurus. And in a very real spiritual sense, not like we're an expert in the field or anything. Like, our work really proves that we bring twin flames from separation into union, into harmonious twin flame union, off into eternity. So, like, there's a power to that, and there's a position that comes with that. There's a huge responsibility that comes with that as well. And I've studied gurus, like true gurus, and I don't feel any different from them. My message is the same.
I didn't really make sense of my spiritual experience when these divine beings told me my job was to bring people back to God, my purpose is. I took it seriously, I respected it, but I didn't really get it until Twin Flame Ascension School. And when I started bringing twin flames together, and I realized, like, oh, this is what they were talking about.
Oh, you can also, we recorded the Toronto workshop.
Toronto Talks. Yeah.
Toronto Talks. You can also, you can watch that as well on our website.
You have to buy it.
Oh, well, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. It's worth it, though. You get a lot of value from it.
If we ask you to pay for something, it's because it's worth way more than what we ask. So the Indian students established us as guru, like they anointed us. Yeah. That was an anointing, a spiritual anointing from their nation, from their culture, from God, and we accepted. And it's not just a title you wear and flash around to get stuff. Like, you don't want that, and you don't want the title of guru if you're not that. Because it's a huge responsibility, and you have to be that. I always
feel the example is akin of being a guru is akin to, if you guys have ever seen the Disney movie Aladdin. I'm talking specifically the animated version, where the only thing Jafar wants is to be a genie because he craves and desires that power of being a genie. And then his wish finally comes true, and he's like, I have ultimate power. But then, boom, boom, he gets the cuffs that link him directly to the lamp. And then he doesn't feel, he's not so almighty powerful because, well, actually the situation is this. All that power comes with responsibility. It comes with, what do you call it? Like,
responsibility.
Yeah. Like, you don't get this ultimate power. Like, it's connected to something else. So
with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah. And we wield great power. And I guess I felt the responsibility from the beginning. Yeah. And I just want to say, like, I'm not special. I'm not a special person. Like, I don't. There's nothing spectacular about me. Really, like, normal. Started out as a normal guy. Except for one thing, is I trusted God. Like, I had faith in God. And I was willing to develop my relationship with God. And I I trusted in the authority of Jesus Christ. And this is not like a come to Jesus and like, you can if you want to. I trusted the authority of a spiritual master who walked before me. And for me, that was Jesus. I respected what Jesus Christ did. I respected that he laid his life down for love, for service to me. And I, as a kid and throughout my life, just honored that. I knew what he did. I knew spiritually what he did for me. And I honored that as best I could as a normal American guy with passions and my own interests. And just, I had faith in God. And I did what God said. And that's all I've ever done. Is what do you want, God? Let me do that. I'm a very simple person. My bio dad was a very simple man. He just showed up at his job and did what he was told. A very simple person. And that was so ingrained in who he was and what he did. He just did what he was told. And was not a special person. And from that he derived a successful enough life for himself. And I must have figured that out as a kid. Because I listened to God, and I obeyed God, and I asked God to make me his instrument, and to let me serve him, and I did. And what happened as a result is my whole life, and holy crap. It's not a joke, fam.
Yeah.
It's not, spiritual power is not something that you mess around with. It's, if you get involved with it, make sure that that's what you want to do. There are consequences.
There's a purpose for it, and it should be to be of service to others. And that's the only reason why we have the power that we have. And we were greatly bestowed with divine gifts. Like you're, able to channel. I channel in my own way. You're more like more of a direct channel. I don't know how to.
I can.
So
I have gifts if God allows them.
Exactly.
I can, if God allows me, I can see the future with prophecy. And I've done it before where I've prophesized what was going to happen as an experiment, and weird shit happened. You're going to get a guitar on this day by this person, by a friend. Sorry, I'm just slowly moving it.
Yeah, you've done
and then
that.
they did. Oh, you're going to get shoes and a dress on this day. And they didn't know. I just wrote it down, put it in an envelope, and said, all right, let's see what happens. And they did. Really not mathematically
Well, and your
possible
readings
things.
are just so bang on. Your romance reports are amazing. And we were both able to see twin flames. When God gives us that ability.
I can speak to the other side.
There's lots of things. I don't want to get into it. It's not
It's a suite of power tools.
Yeah, we gotta.
That you have access to if needed.
If we need it, but it's only if we need them, and only if God allows.
It's a surrendered life.
But it's a surrendered life, and we use these tools in service to the divine, to other people. And one of our greatest pride and joys is that we do have permanent, harmonious twin flame unions in our community. And that's only in the process of growing. We have many beautiful, lovely twin flame unions in our community, and they are well on their way to a permanent, harmonious twin flame union. And also many of them are married into our church, have a beautiful twin flame ceremony. That seems to happen at our events. We have events, and everyone likes a wedding, so we just seem to have weddings, and why not? So we're registered to marry people.
So we upgraded from that house that we had rented to buy a house, the one we're in. Yeah. It's double the size of that house, and it's ours, and it's a gorgeous place. We own it, and we've renovated almost the entire thing. Super sweet. We've grown a lot.
And we live far away from the city. It's really nice.
In the woods.
Overlooking
the lake. So after we started bringing harmonious unions together, after TFAS, and the media came sniffing because one of the former students got their feathers ruffled for whatever reason, left, didn't get what they had hoped for, and started crying to the media, saying bad stuff about us, calling us a cult.
Well, they didn't want to do the work, and they didn't want to finish doing the work, and they didn't want to see what we were pointing out in them. So, like, okay, you asked us to guide you, like we were guiding everyone else, and others were getting results. So, we knew what we were doing. We were getting results. You just have to like work the process and follow the process. And it's not easy being a guru because it means we have to shine light on the darkness of a person's consciousness, and so it can be a thankless job at times. And that's kind of what happened is that some of those former students didn't want to look to where we were pointing, didn't want to finish doing their inner work, and hey, that's okay. But then they got nasty, went to the media. We talked about this in our first podcast.
We were never willing to bow to what the media was trying to do to us.
No.
We were never willing to play into their game, and so they just kept upping the ante on us until they couldn't up it anymore. We were never willing to crack and have them expose us as fraudulent. Because we're not fraudulent.
No, we don't sell false hope and false dreams. We sell real dreams, the real dreams that come true.
The caveat is it's work. Yeah. You have to work for it, and that can be hard, and you have to be consistent, and you have to not go back.
Yeah, you have to close the back door behind you and go forward no matter what.
Did you hear our story? This was the light version of it.
Yeah, it really was.
This was the Coles Notes. It was way more intense than we're telling you. Way more
intense.
Way scarier.
Way more deep,
way more brutal. It ripped us open.
Yeah. And
cleaned us out. And everything that happened was just God's way of clearing the vessel so that his light could enter. So that he could do what I asked, which was to allow me to be his servant.
And yeah, and like that dream I had when I was 18 years old, like asking to be a healer, wanting to be a world healer and help people.
Be careful what you wish for.
Be careful what you wish for, but
you will get it.
You know, I felt that their wish was sincere because, like, I followed Jesus. I was a devout Catholic, and he was my role model, just like you were saying for yourself. So,
here we are today.
We had a baby.
2
years ago.
That we had divined in Twin Flame Ascension School.
Yeah. We talked a lot about her.
There's some blogs on twinflamesuniverse.com. I want to kind of wrap this up. I want to kind of get to the point here.
Yeah.
So this is our story thus far. We have been building a community that is imbued with the culture of our teaching. And this culture that we've created and we are growing and developing comes from God. And the results are divine. They are healing, they are wonderful, but they're entirely optional. You can join our community and try it out and leave at any time. It's all on you. There's no one's going to chase after you and make you. We don't care. We know it's hard. We expect you to leave.
Yeah, we do, actually. Yeah.
But if you stay, you will get the results that we're showing you. Everyone does. If you stay and you do the work, you'll get the results rapidly. You'll get as much as you can handle. And if you can handle a lot, oh Lord.
You go faster.
Come on in.
But I think my general advice is this: go at a rate that is compassionate to you and your twin flame journey and spiritual journey. Going faster doesn't always mean going better. It can be more shocking and bring up a lot of trauma, and like, just go at a pace that's compassionate. Ask God to direct your spiritual path. That's the easiest thing to do.
I was a thirsty young man.
Me too.
I had
young woman.
Stupendous dreams. I was a thirsty young man too. I had dreams that were impossible. I thought that my desire for a woman was impossibly insatiable because it was so intense and so passionate and so huge, and it was nothing for God.
Yeah.
And what God gave me made my dreams that seemed so big seem so small.
Yeah.
It was like I thought I had an ocean of dreams and he filled it in a drop. And it was like, and it was overflowing. And he's like, bruh, I am enough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
God calls me bruh. God is enough. And no matter how big the hole in your heart or the hole in your life or the pain that you're experiencing or the difficulty you're having, it's nothing to God. And all you have to do is surrender and work through what is arising. And you don't have to do it alone. We have been through it, and so have our students, so many of our students.
Yes.
And we have a community of people that work together to work through this stuff. So this is not the end. It's the end of this podcast,
Yes.
unless Shaleia has more to say.
Yes.
This is the beginning of a new chapter. We're not going anywhere. No, you could throw 1,000 times what we've been through at us. We would still keep going.
It's just me.
Because there's only two choices for me. Continue, choice one, or cease to exist. And I will continue until I cease to exist. Because there's nothing else for me but that. I am so indebted to God. I am so beholden to God. I am so burdened by the infinite responsibility of God's infinite love that I have to bring it to you. Ooh. What is a 3 o'clock timer?
That was from yesterday's nap.
It's time to wrap it up.
Something like that.
That I have to bring this to you. I have established, a community, a teaching, a body of work that will already outlast us, and we're here for as long as we can be here, as long as we live, as long as there's breath in our body, doing this. And then when we die, we're going to be on the other side doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So join us when you're ready on the ascension path to harmonious union and heaven on earth, because that's literally what's happening.
That's what's happening, folks.
So thank you for joining us in our podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Holy crap.
That was a big one.
It was a big one. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
God bless you.
God bless.
And namaste.
Namaste. We'll see you again soon.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.